Now we study the new concept, motional electromotive force, that is also called as motional EMF. Now this name is arised because of motion of a conductor in the presence of an external magnetic field. Whenever a conductor is moving in the presence of an external magnetic field, an EMF is developed across the conductor. Due to that EMF, a current is induced in it, and hence the name is called motional EMF, electromotive force. Now for that one, we will consider a rectangular conductor, PQRS. Now here PQRS is a rectangular conductor. Now in this rectangular conductor, the Rm PQ is movable. It is movable on that rectangular conductor. Now neglecting the frictional part of the motion of that PQRM over the remaining rectangular loop. Now that conductor is moving with a constant velocity. Constant velocity, that is vector v. It is moving inwards with a constant velocity v. Now let us take the distance QR is equal to x units, that if I take it as the length, and breadth of that rectangular loop RS is equal to L. Then what is the area of that rectangular loop? Now the area of the rectangular loop A is equal to, it is L into X. Now we are applying a constant uniform magnetic field, vector B, perpendicular to the plane of the loop. That rectangular loop ಗೆ perpendicular ಆಗಿ, that is into the plane of the board ಗೆ a constant magnetic field ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, that is given by the vector B. Now as and when that RMPQ is moved inwards with a constant velocity V, the magnetic field lines or the magnetic flux linked with this rectangular loop goes on changing. Now here it is, the flux is decreasing because the RMPQ is moving inwards, therefore area becomes decreasing, it goes on decreasing. As the area is decreasing, the number of field lines entering in that region is also decreasing. Obviously the magnetic flux is decreasing, it is changing obviously. Now the flux is given by the general formula, flux is equal to, it is B A cos theta. B is the magnitude of the magnetic field and area is area of cross section of that rectangular loop, and theta is the angle between the field vector and the area vector. Now here in this case, the rectangular loop, the normal to the rectangular loop and the field are in the same direction, that is into the plane of the board. They are parallel to each other, therefore theta is 0 degree here, and hence the magnetic flux simply becomes, it is B into A. So therefore B into area of cross section is that just we have calculated, it is L into X. Clear? Now the RMPQ is moving inwards, the flux is changing, therefore since there is a change in flux, according to Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, an EMF is induced across the RMPQ. The magnitude of the induced EMF that we know is given by minus of d phi p by dt. The induced EMF is given by minus of d phi b by dt, that is rate of change of magnetic flux. Just simply substitute the value of flux, we get d by dt of b L into x. Very simple expression. Therefore, the induced EMF minus of B, strength of the magnetic field, it is a constant taken out. L, here we have taken, it is the breadth of the rectangular loop, that is also a constant. The only variable is x. Because as and when the arm PQ is moving inwards, that length QR, it goes on varying. Therefore, that is the variable. Therefore, it becomes dx by dt. So, therefore, this one is equal to minus of B into L. If I assume this x as the displacement, then obviously dx by dt is the rate of change of displacement, which is nothing but the velocity of that arm PQ. So therefore, dx by dt is replaced by the velocity with a negative sign, where we have taken, so dx by dt is equal to minus v. The rate of change of displacement is velocity, but here we have taken a negative sign because here this length x is goes on decreasing. It is goes on decreasing. In order to indicate that one, we have taken a minus sign. So after simplification, we will get the EMF is equal to minus of minus, it becomes is B L into V. Now this induced EMF caused by the motion of the arm PQ, conductor PQ, is called motional EMF. It is called as motional electromotive force. Therefore, the magnitude of the motional EMF is given by E is equal to B into L into V. Now this may be asked for 3 marks. Obtain the expression for motional EMF whenever a conductor is moving in the presence of uniform magnetic field. That is a simple expression. E is equal to B into L into V. Now next, we will consider that we have a rectangular loop. Now let PQRM has a resistance small r, and all the remaining arms have negligible resistance. So PQRM is having a resistance small r, and the remaining arms QR, RS and SP, they are having a negligible resistance. If I assume that, then what is the total resistance of that rectangular loop? It simply becomes R. It simply becomes R. Now because of this induced EMF or motional EMF, the current starts to flow in that rectangular loop. Now the direction of the current is, it is from P to Q towards, and from Q to R, from R to S. The flow of current is as shown in the diagram, that is P, Q, R, S and P. But in the textbook they have given in the reverse direction. Okay, please make correction of that one. Now the current is flowing from P, Q, R, S and P, that is in clockwise direction. That is in the clockwise direction. Now that is explained once again by using the Lenz's law. As the conductor is moving inwards, the field lines are decreasing. The induced EMF is such that it has to produce a current which opposes the change in flux. Since the flux is decreasing, the current should be such that it has to generate the flux so that the flux has to be increased. Now here the magnetic field is into, as arm PQ is moving inwards, the number of field lines decreasing. The current should be such that the direction of the field is along the field direction so that it has to increase the magnetic field lines. For that reason, the current should be in the clockwise direction. If the current is in the clockwise direction, the field produced by the current due to the induced EMF, it is also into the plane of the board. And hence, the current is along P, Q, R, S, P direction, that is clockwise direction as shown in the diagram. Since R is the total resistance of that rectangular loop, obviously there is a current flowing through it. That current is given by E divided by R. Simple relation we are having, that is equal to BLV divided by R. Now because of the current, there is a power dissipation. Now that power dissipation is due to the Joule heating effect. Power dissipation is due to the Joule heating effect, and that is given by I square R. Power dissipation due to Joule heating is I square R. Substitute the value of I here. We are getting BLV divided by R whole square into R. Now after simplification, we get the power dissipation is equal to V square L square V square divided by R. Or this much of power is required in order to mechanically move that rod. This is a simple concept. Now one more important notice you have to look into it. As and when the rod PQ is moving, the charges which are present in that conductor, they experiences a magnetic force. Therefore, the charges starts to move along P to Q direction. They start to flow along PQ direction, and hence current is flowing in that conductor. In the previous chapters we have studied, whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in an external magnetic field, it experiences magnetic force. The direction of that magnetic force is given by Fleming's left hand rule. If you have the first three fingers are stretched mutually perpendicular to each other, the forefinger indicates the direction of the magnetic field, middle finger indicates the direction of flow of current, here the charges are the current, then obviously the extended thumb indicates the direction of the force experienced by the current carrying conductor. Now here in this case, the arm PQ is moving inward. Because of that one, a motional EMF is developed. Because of that motional EMF, we are having a current in that conductor. Now current carrying conductor is placed in the external magnetic field. Clear? The magnetic field is into the plane of the board, therefore forefinger is into. Now current is from P to Q direction, current flowing is from P to Q direction, it is downwards. Then obviously the extended thumb represents the magnetic force experienced by the conductor. Now we are moving the arm PQ toward inwards, but because of the magnetic force, that magnetic force pulls the arm PQ outward. That is the thing you should remember. In altogether, as and when the atom PQ is moving, there is a mechanical energy. It gets converted into electrical energy, that is EMF induced electromotive force, motional EMF, plus the thermal energy, that is Joule heating effect. That thing you should remember. And one more interesting thing is, we know that according to Faraday's electromagnetic law of electromagnetic induction, the magnitude of EMF is delta phi B by delta T, neglecting the minus sign. It is the rate of change of magnetic flux. And in the third chapter, that is current electricity, we know that EMF E is equal to, it is current flowing I into the resistor R. Now current is the rate of change of charges dq by dt, delta q by delta t. The rate of flow of charges is current, delta q by delta t into R. Since both are EMF, compare them, I will get delta phi b is equal to delta q by delta t. We are getting one important relation between the charge and the magnetic flux. We are getting an important relation between the charge and the magnetic flux. The change in flux is equal to the rate of flow of charges in that particular conductor. Now one important note we are going to study. Now here the conductor is in motion. Because of that one we are getting a motional electromotive force with this simple relation. If I put the conductor in constant, stationary, and changing the magnetic field, can we induce an EMF? Michael Faraday has already told that. He already said that. In the case of a coil and bar experiment, first magnetic bar is moved towards and taken away. An EMF is induced. That is explained on this basis. Now the PQ conductor is kept constant and the magnetic field is varied. Then also we are getting the induced EMF, motional EMF. How can you explain that concept? That is explained based on Lorentz force. It is the total force experienced by a charged particle in the presence of both the electric field and the magnetic field that we have studied in the previous chapter. Q into vector E, that is the electrostatic force. Q into V cross B, that is the magnetic force experienced by that a charged particle in the presence of both electric and magnetic fields. Now here the conductor is kept constant. Since the conductor is constant, its velocity becomes 0. Therefore, we have the force on the charged particles is due to the electric field. Now, how you get electric field? Here we are not at all using any electric field. We are having only magnetic field. That magnetic field is timely varying. So, based on this concept, Faraday assumes that a timely varying magnetic field produces electric field. A timely varying magnetic field, it produces an electric field. Now this electric field causes the charges to flow from region P to Q region. Now that constitutes the current in that rectangular lobe. Now motional EMF in the case of a rotating rod. In the previous one, the rod is moving, that is linear motion. So here the rod is fixed at one end and other end is rotating in a circular path, describing a circle of radius r. Now what is the expression for the motional EMF that we are going to study? Now consider rod OP of length capital R. It is fixed at one end, that is O, and free to rotate at the other end. A uniform magnetic field B is applied into the plane of the board as shown in the diagram. Now the rod is rotating in a circular path. As the rod rotates, the magnetic flux linked with the rod is changing. That obviously induces an EMF. That is motional EMF, and hence there is a current. Okay. Now as and when that rod is rotating, the positive charges which are present in that rod, they experiences the magnetic force towards the center O. Whereas the electrons which are negatively charged, they experience the force away from the center. Therefore, the positive charge gets collected at the center and the negatively charged electrons gets collected at the outer end, and they are uniformly distributed along the circumference. Now this separation of charge induces an EMF, that is motional EMF. Now let us assume that initially a charge is displaced through a small distance dr. The charges are separated through a small distance dr. As and when the charges are separated, an EMF is induced. That we call it as motional EMF. Now the rod is rotating. Because of the rotation, the charges are separating. Because of the separation of the charges, an EMF is induced. It is B L V. Now B and V, it is the velocity with which the rod is rotating. PV into L. L is the distance, the small distance we have taken is dr. Now this is dE. The small amount of EMF induced is dE is equal to BV into dr. Now charges are separating from where to where? From the center O towards the point P. The electrons are separating from O to the point P. Therefore, the total EMF induced is obtained by integrating the above expression from 0 to capital R, which is nothing but the total length of the rod, or here it is the radius of the circular path. So simple mathematics here, integral of BV into R. Now this is a linear velocity. We convert it into angular velocity, therefore we will get B into, what is the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity? The linear velocity V is equal to omega into R, where omega is the angular velocity of rotation of the rod. Omega into R into dr. Now B is constant and angular velocity is constant. Only variable is the radius part. That is integral of R into dr. Integration of R is R square by 2, applying the upper limit as well as lower limit. Therefore, the induced EMF becomes B omega capital R square. Now this is the expression whenever the rod is making a circular motion. So omega is the angular velocity and r is the radius, length of the rod or the radius of the circular path described. By using this relation also we can work out what is the motional EMF in the case of rotational motion. We will solve one problem. A metallic rod of 1 meter length is rotated with a frequency of 50 revolutions per second, with one end hinged at the center and the other end at the circumference of a circular metallic ring of radius 1 meter. A constant and uniform magnetic field of 1 Tesla parallel to the axis is present everywhere. What is the EMF between the center and metallic ring? Now here they have given a rod which is fixed at the center and is able to move on the circumference of a metallic ring. Now here it is a metallic ring. Now this is a rod. The length of the rod and radius of the metallic ring both are given. It is equal to 1 meter. A uniform magnetic field of 1 Tesla is applied. Obviously there is an EMF between the center and the circumference point. That EMF, that motional EMF that we have to work out. Now here given the radius capital R, which is nothing but the length of the rod, 1 meter. Strength of the magnetic field is given, that is equal to 1 Tesla. It is rotating with a frequency of 50 revolutions. Nu is equal to 50 revolutions per second. That one we have given. Now we have to calculate the angular frequency. The angular frequency is 2 pi nu, that is 2 into 3.14 into 50. That gives the angular frequency. Now just we have to calculate what is the motional EMF. Now just we have studied the expression of motional EMF in the case of rotational motion. It is half B omega r square. Half B omega r square. Now just substitute the values. B is 1, omega is this one, 2 into 3.14 into 50, and radius is 1 square. Therefore EMF induced is, now 2 get cancels. So 3.14 into 50, it is 157 volts. Now this amount of EMF is induced across the ends of the rod. Very simple problem. One more problem. A wheel with 10 metallic spokes, each 0.5 meter long, is rotated with a speed of 120 revolutions per minute in a plane normal to the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field He at a place. If He is equal to 0.4 Gauss at that place, what is the induced EMF between the axle and the rim of the wheel? Now we have a wheel here. Now that wheel contains 10 spokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now that wheel contains 10 spokes. Now look at carefully, those 10 spokes, they are in parallel. Since they are in parallel, the EMF induced among all the 10 spokes is the same. Hence, here the number of spokes, it is immaterial for this problem. Okay. Now given here, what are the given things? Number of spokes, it is immaterial. The length of each spokes, that is nothing but the radius of the circular rim. It is 0.5 meter, rotated with a speed of 120 revolution. The angular, the frequency mu is equal to, it is 120 revolutions per minute. The frequency of revolution is 120 divided by 60 revolution per second. Because they have given in minute, they have to convert it in terms of seconds. Therefore, the frequency of revolution is 2 revolutions per second. 2 revolutions per second. And the magnetic field is, it is the horizontal component of the Earth's magnetic field. That is given 0.4 Gauss. It is not in SI unit. SI unit is Tesla, we know. Therefore, it is 0.4 into 10 to the power of minus 4 Tesla. Now we have to calculate what is the motional EMF. Now in rotational motion, we know the formula is half B omega R square. That is half B 2 pi nu into R square, half into B. It is 0.4 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into 2 into pi, 3.14 into 2 pi nu, frequency is 2, into R square, radius 0.5 whole square. Now if we take the calculator and simplify, I will get 6.28 into 10 to the power of minus 5 volts. If we take the calculator and simplify this one, multiplying this one, I will get 6.28 into 10 to the power of minus 5 volts. Now this amount of EMF is induced between the axle and the rim. Now axle is fixed at the center and rim is nothing but the circumference. The EMF is this 6.28 into 10 to the power of minus 5 volts. Now here the number of spokes is immaterial because they are in parallel. In parallel combination, we know that either the voltage or the EMF, it remains the constant. Clear?